Plaintiff Vernisha Geis met the defendant in a mom's Facebook group after she posted an advertisement for a trip to Orlando. Vernisha claims she paid the defendant to go on the trip, only to find out the resort was an hour outside of Orlando. So she's suing for the cost of the trip. Defendant Olivia Fortson insists the resort she booked was 35 to 40 minutes outside of Orlando, not an hour. And after Vernisha decided that she didn't want to go, she started harassing Olivia. So she's countersuing.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, so my name is Vernisha. I encountered Olivia in a Facebook mom group called The Real Moms of Atlanta. A friend of mine referred me to a post she had made where she was advertising a trip. The title of the trip was The Real Moms of Atlanta Take Over Orlando. All of the payments were made by May. She wanted the payments made by May. The total payment for the trip was $400.
Who did you contact to be a part of it?
I reached out to Olivia.
And it was set for what dates?
June 25th through the 27th.
Why don't you give me some background?
Absolutely. So I met Vernisha through a Facebook group called The Real Moms of Atlanta. That was our first time meeting, and I suggested, me being a travel agent, I suggested.
You all live in Atlanta?
Yes.
Y'all don't have any shots? You got shots? Okay.
Yes.
I ain't talking about vaccine.
Oh, what you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. All them girls in Atlanta got.
No, I don't have any at all.
Don't have any shots. You don't have any fake designer bags and fake clothes?
No, not at all.
I got an Aldo purse. That's it.
This the real Atlanta.
Right.
TV.
Got to do with TV, I come there. But they have something called a kit. Swear to God.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right or wrong? Showing what you need to do in Atlanta to catch a man. Tell you what the kit said.
Oh, okay.
I know bundles.
Chanel bag, bundles, red bottom. Otherwise, you can forget about it. I'm gonna try to come here competing. Unless you got that kit, you ain't got a chance at the club, dog.
With a kid.
Am I right or wrong? So, Atlanta, $400 dispute. I like y'all. $400 for the trip, and you said went how?
So she did contact me. I posted the trip. She paid her deposit in March. It was a $100 deposit.
All right, March.
Mm-hmm.
Is that about right?
Yes.
All right, March what again?
I want to say March 26th is when I set the date.
March 18th.
Okay.
March 18th. And then she paid her remaining balance of $300 in April.
And by the way, I like Atlanta. It's a lot of fun, but I like the professional community. I spent some time taping a show that I produced in the club community. Okay. And there's some things going on in that circle, but that's one of the reputations on this. And then the guys, some of which are from a different country in the southern part of the world. Am I right? It's the craziest. I'm gonna let's tell it. They don't even say the nation. They just say Africans. They're the most popular guys there because they give out a lot of money. Am I shaking their head?
That's true.
And they have these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 cars. Wow. And when you come out the restaurants or the club, they just be laying on their cars. Or if they're laughing, they just be laying on the car. Am I right? And the girls go over there. I was at a club event, and all of a sudden the DJ says, you see two guys who apparently look like they're from West Africa, meaning either Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, or a country, not a continent. He gets on the mic. Ladies, I swear to God, the DJ, I couldn't believe it. Ladies, we got Africans in the house. We got Africans. I was suited. All of a sudden, the DJ says you see two guys who apparently look like they're from West Africa. He gets on the mic. Ladies. I swear to God, the DJ, I couldn't believe it. Ladies, we got Africans. We got Africans in the house. We got Africans. I was insulted.
Defendant Olivia Fortson booked a trip to Florida with the plaintiff, but she claims after the plaintiff decided that she didn't want to go, she started harassing Olivia.
The Africans are here. Go get your money. Go get your money. Where? They're not. If I were them, I'd be insulted, but they're not. Am I telling them anything that's untrue?
Not at all.
So that's what kind of turned me off. And that's what I saw that surprised me. And because I'd been going to Atlanta regularly since I was an adult working in politics and civil rights. So those are the folks I would associate with, Martin Luther King's son and all those cats in politics, the mayors and all that, and professional class. And then when I went there, I said, oh my God. All right, let's get off of Atlanta. I love that town, but they got some stuff. They doing the most. Ain't that how y'all say it? They are doing the most. So, $400 for the trip, and what went wrong?
On June 20th, Olivia sent a group message to all of the people that were attending the trip telling us that she still didn't have the address, but she had the name of the resort. Immediately when she told me the name of the resort, I informed her that that resort is not in Orlando. It was in Haynes, Florida.
Where, Haynes?
Uh-huh.
How far is that from Orlando?
An hour, maybe like.
Over an hour?
Yeah, like 90 minutes maybe.
So you said that you didn't want to go anywhere, that it took you an hour to get to Orlando.
Right. I immediately told her that I wasn't interested in being a part of it.
Immediately after viewing it, you contacted her.
Right.
And said, this isn't Orlando, so I don't want to go to a place where I have to travel an hour to the place I intended to go to.
Right. And the name of the trip was the Orlando Takeover.
Right. Yeah.
First of all, it's not over an hour. It's maybe 35 minutes at the most. 35 to 40 minutes.
Well, that's not bad. That's the 40. You done went up from 35 to 40 already.
With traffic. It's
what
not
city?
an hour. It's in Haynes City, Florida. It's a resort in Haynes City, Florida.
What is Haynes City near?
Exactly.
It's not an hour from Orlando.
I'm going to take what they call judicial notice, meaning based on personal experience. You can't tell me about nothing about Florida. Y'all can tell me about Atlanta. Florida's been my stomping ground since I was a boy. That's where all of my family is from. I have 40 relatives right now that live in the Tampa, Orlando area, and St. Pete. So those are my stomping grounds. I know how far it is. What's your counterclaim for?
For harassment, she didn't immediately tell me that she couldn't go. If you look on page 5, that's when I started asking, that Monday before the trip, I started asking anybody have allergies, asking what type of...
Then soon you have no allergies. What's this supposed to tell me?
I was saying, that's when she told me that she just had her family reunion there, and she went on to tell me that she preferred tequila, and so she knew the address. And I didn't have the exact address because it's
Kennedy Boulevard, Haynes City, Florida. We just had our family reunion there. Who is that from? That's from you.
Yes.
I drink tequila. You're talking about what you drink and everything after you knew where it was. You knew exactly where it was because you had just had your family. So why are you picking out what to drink? Why are you telling her to drink you like, oh yeah, I've been there. I was there at the family reunion. Make sure my tequila is there. Go ahead, ma'am.
On page 8, you'll see.
That's exactly what you said.
On Tuesday, that's when she asked for a refund, and I said I was trying to be accommodating, so I'll find a mom that can take your place. And then that's when she started harassing me, saying it sucks because kids will have to witness what's going to happen. And so at that point is when I said, oh no, I'm going to change everything.
They're going to witness what happens when she brings you to court. This is not a threat to bring you to court, because that's what she did. Because I'd been going to Atlanta regularly since I was an adult working in politics and civil rights. So those are the folks I would associate with, professional class. And then when I went there, I said, oh my God. I love that town, but they got some stuff they doing the most. Ain't that how y'all say it? They are doing the most.
Defendant Olivia Fortson booked a trip to Florida with the plaintiff, but she claims after the plaintiff decided that she didn't want to go, she started harassing Olivia.
Did she act on any of these things that you interpret as a threat? Did any damage come to you or your family? Any direct threats of harming you?
Well, I didn't let it get that far because I canceled.
Well, then let's not get as far as the harassment, because it didn't get there. You didn't get harassed by your own admission. This is it. All right. I'm going to send y'all home as friends. No harassment for you. As you said, it didn't get there. The only thing she said, she doesn't want kids to witness what's going to happen to you. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen to you is just what did. She brought you to court and sued you. That's what people should do. And she sued you, however, on false pretenses because you pulled out that smoking gun evidence where she said, not only do I know where it's at, I was just there. And I love the tequila. So make sure you save me some of that tequila because I'll be the first one at the bar. Have a good day, both of y'all.
Judge, can I say something?
What?
Okay, there was two separate messages. The messages where you see where she gave us the details, that was a group message. That's why it has all of our names.
All I know is you told the woman that you have been there before, you're familiar with it,
and I
have a drink for you when you get there. Have a good day.
I'm sorry that you experienced that. I didn't mean for the trip to turn around like this. And hopefully you can have a better trip next time. Or a better experience.
No words to her.
Plaintiff Deborah Philippi dated the defendant for 2 weeks when they were both drug addicts. And years later, they became roommates. However, Deborah claims the defendant started harassing her, so she was forced to leave and is now living in her car, so she's suing. Defendant Travis Winitsky admits he and Deborah were friends with benefits. But when she moved in with him, they were nothing more than friends. Travis claims he told Deborah to leave because she refused to pay rent, and therefore he owes her nothing.
All right, start with you, man.
All right, 2013, I was married, raised my kids clean and sober. I had 13 years. My husband left me and basically took everything from me. And the reason why he was allowed that to happen is because I was on drugs again. And Travis was a part of the group that I was involved with. I got clean 10-25-20, thank God. I went into Willamette Family here finally, and I got clean and sober. After this happened, I started teetotaling again, so I'm going to need to go into treatment again once I get stabilized. I live in my car now and have for 2 months because of this.
Sorry to hear
My
that.
daughter lives with a man that she works with, you know. That's easy for a 21-year-old to do, but not, I'm almost 60 years old, you know.
I guess y'all fell in love? Y'all in love? Were you in love, man?
No, wasn't in love. It was a 2-week thing. And then when I met up with him again, it was going to be a roommate thing, and maybe things could happen. But I made that clear. That's why I gave him.
Okay, so you only dated 2 weeks. I got it now. Let me hear from him with some background first, and then I'll get back to you.
So if I can start from the beginning, in 2013, we basically met. We were friends. We spent some time together. We even, went out to eat a couple of times, things of that nature. I admit there was sort of a friends with benefits scenario that was taking place at that particular time.
Where did you all meet?
Through my ex-boyfriend, actually. And it was the worst mistake I made was going with this man, and then I got all mixed up in drugs again.
You were married.
When I met
you
this
met
man,
him through your boyfriend. So where did he come in? He the side piece or
but
the?
he wouldn't cut it. You know, I would make plans for
couldn't
normal
work his way
things
up.
like church and stuff, and he just didn't want to. So we met up again August
You say you
26th,
used to certain
and it
things
was
he
right-
just wasn't doing. That's right. He couldn't measure up.
No, he just gets drunked up and messed up on dope or something, because he offered me and my daughter, my 21-year-old daughter, a room. He just lost his roommate, you know, so he wanted a roommate, and he said he needed somebody there in case he goes to jail for a drunk driving. So everything was cool and everything. And I gave him all the money I had in my pocket, and it was about $145, because I wanted him to know that I was there to pay my rent, not sleep with him necessarily. It might have happened one day. And I made that clear.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you moved in, and what were the terms?
It was, I was pay half the rent, which was $500.
Okay.
I wanted him to know that I was busy putting things away, and I was giving him money. That's why I emptied my pockets. He said, thank you, and disappeared.
Okay.
Then Travis came back, and he was a totally different person. I told him, you know, what are you going to wear for church or whatever? Something small like that. And he just said, your God. That's what he told me.
Okay. And when was that? When was that? When?
That was September 2nd. And when he said that, that was null and void right there. But he continued to harass me to the point where I was afraid he was going to physically assault me. So I called the police.
When?
On September 2nd, when I left. I had to go get a U-Haul. Thank God one of my friends rented it for me.
I guess y'all fell in love? Y'all in love? Were you in love, man?
No, wasn't in love. It was a 2-week thing. And then when I met up with him again, it was going to be a roommate thing, and maybe things could happen. But I made that clear. That's why I gave him
Okay, so
that
you only
money.
dated 2 weeks. I got it now.
Defendant Travis Winitsky is being sued by his former roommate, who claims after she moved in with Travis, he started harassing her, and she feared for her safety.
What type of harassment did he engage in that caused you to move?
Because he told me, your God. And he goes, and if you don't like that, get the out of here. And I'm all like, wow, what are you on?
And you
know?
left after he said that?
Yeah.
Well, you
What are
left
on?
voluntarily, ma'am. Ma'am, you left voluntarily. All he did is, you've
he
told me
made
so
me.
far.
He
No.
told me and my daughter, get the out of here.
And you said, okay. When you didn't have
Right.
to. You didn't have to.
What do you mean I didn't have to?
You have to go.
I can't live around somebody that's on drugs. I'm not on drugs anymore.
And so that was your choice, ma'am, to leave.
I know that, sir, but my goal was to get a place for me and my daughter to live.
I got
And
you.
he told me to leave, and I was afraid he was going to physically assault me, so I
Told
called
you
the
if you didn't
police.
like it to get, now you felt he was going to physically assault you? What happened when the police came?
They waited until I got my boxes, all I could in my car. And then me and my daughter went and got a friend, and he went and rented us a U-Haul, which ended up taking us 4 days to move, because Corvallis and where I live is between the two is like 30 miles.
Did you tell the police you were afraid of him?
Yes, I did.
What did they advise you to do with the person that you were fearful of?
They said that, I needed to leave,
Really? That's all the police says? If you feel somebody's going to get you, they just say, well, leave. They don't
Well,
say
when I
go and
came
get a
back to get
restraining
my
order?
stuff, Your Honor, he had put a lot of my stuff out by the dumpster. And this is by a college, so a lot of dumpster drivers.
I guess.
And then he was.
No, that's just
Let
not
me hear
true.
from you. Yeah, I'm
Cigarette.
sorry, ma'am. I'm going to have to hear from him now.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
I mean, much of what she said is pretty accurate as far as the events went, but there was no violence and there was none of this. I asked her to leave at that point in time, because I felt that she was using sex as a position for rent. She did pay me the $145 out of her pocket at that particular time, which I was appreciative of, and I really wanted to help her and her daughter out.
She said the sex had stopped by the time she moved in.
It had. We were friends in 2013 to about 2017, and in that period of time, we had some romantic, occasions. But
you're saying when she moved in, sex was a factor.
Well, we'd agreed that it wouldn't be. She specifically stated.
And so what did happen? What did happen?
When she moved in?
Yeah, how did she break her agreement? You're using sex as a defense. She wanted sex out of me. That's all I've heard, sir, is that she wants sex out of you. That's your defense. Sure. So that's all I've heard, so you got to explain it.
Let me back it up a little bit further to the beginning. So at about 2021, after we were friends, I moved away in 2017, and then I moved back. And she just was driving along and saw me on the side of the road in 2021, probably August 26th, possibly about that date. It might have been a little bit earlier, a little bit later. So we got to talking, and she kind of explained her situation and said that she had, gone through treatment and she was doing better. And I really congratulated that because I've been there myself and been in a similar situation. So, and she had a 21-year-old daughter with her. And so I kind of empathized for her position. I really did. And I had just had a roommate that moved out. So it seemed
that's why you put all my boxes out on the yard and threw cigarette butts in there, and it caught on fire. One of them. That's what you did.
So go right ahead.
You were in a blackout. You don't probably even remember.
Go ahead.
I remember pretty clearly, but
you knew I was going to be homeless.
That's enough, ma'am. Be quiet. Go ahead.
So at that time, we kind of talked about it, and we discussed, the living situation that she could possibly move in with her daughter, and we'd agreed upon it. And she was very specific about no sex would be involved in it, and I would completely agree with that as well. We hadn't been in that sort of atmosphere.
All right, but that's part of what you're saying now. So what did happen?
Yes. So after I told her that rent would be due with no questions on the 1st. When she didn't have the money on the 1st, that morning I asked her if she had the money. She said she didn't have it. Then that's when she went into her wallet and got all the money that she and her daughter had, and she gave me the $145. And so I said I appreciated that, but she then told me that tomorrow she would have the remainder of the money because her money just had not come in yet. So I said that's great. And later that evening, she just seemed to act weird.
Ma'am, be quiet. Go ahead.
Okay.
It just seemed to act weird. So I didn't really think much of it, but come the next day, I asked her if her money had cleared and gone through, and she didn't even remark on the question. She didn't even really answer the question. She just kind of started showing me this dress that she had. And I tried to get back on track, and it seemed like she was trying to just go a different direction. I knew her well enough to know that it didn't seem like I was going to get my money. And I felt like I'd just been played at that point in time, and it upset me. And I left at that time. And when I came back, I thought about it for a while. When I came back, I was upset, and I said, you need to leave because this isn't going to work out. And she did. She left.
You didn't say if you want to.
Outside for her to come and collect. So
you didn't say you can leave if you want to. You said you leave. You told her to leave.
Yeah.
No, I didn't tell her to leave. I said, if you're not going to pay the money, then
you have to leave.
Yeah.
Defendant Travis Winitsky is being sued by his former roommate, who claims after she moved in with Travis, he started harassing her, and she feared for her safety.
And then what happened from there? When he told you had to leave, what happened then, ma'am? You left on your own?
Yes, we left.
The police
and
came?
I got a friend to rent me a U-Haul, and we came back. We had to make 3 trips, 30 miles each way. It cost me a fortune if it wasn't for my friends helping me. I don't know what I would have done. He probably would have burned my stuff and thrown it all in the trash.
I wouldn't have burned it.
And I also have, after I decided to sue him instead of punch him in the face or something, I served him, and then he writes me this text message that we could just make it a couple $100 from me in writing and let bygones be bygones. That's my proof on page 1.
Okay. That he's trying to give you some, you can just...
Yeah, trying to give me a couple $100.
From me in writing. Sir, what do you mean by this? She shows me a text where you say you could just a couple of $100 from me in writing and bygones be bygones.
Well, I think you're only seeing a portion of the text there of the conversation.
Tell me the rest.
So basically, after I'd received the letter that she was going through with the lawsuit, after this incident had happened, I called her up and said, hey, let's just squash this. You know, we don't need to go any further with it. It's maybe I did get a little bit overheated and upset and maybe acted hastily. That's what I did tell her. I'll admit to that. But it in no way justified, going through with a lawsuit that I'm not liable for. I didn't feel that I was liable for. So I said, I'll try to be an adult about this situation. And if you want to meet me somewhere in the middle ground, maybe we can work this out without even going to court and we can both just be done with it.
All right. And $500 is the amount of your rent?
Yes, sir.
All right. And he evicted you illegally by any measure. Illegal eviction, you get twice as much as your rent in your state. So doubling the 500, you get 1,000 back, and then I will grant you the 1,000 for the emotional distress you suffered. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Judge. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus. Don't be inviting people to live with you because you want to have sex with them. Women are not just sex objects.
Thank you for that. I tend to agree with you on that. And
I thought you were my friend.
Plaintiff Malika Fiqua says the defendant is her younger brother, and he's always been a mama's boy. Malika claims she loaned the defendant $4,000 without telling her husband, and he never repaid her, which put a strain on her marriage. She's suing for the unpaid loan. Defendant Wardell Heller admits he's a mama's boy, but says now he spoils his sisters, including Malika. Wardell insists Malika is suing for more than he owes.
Start with you.
A little bit of a backstory between me and my brother. He's my younger brother. We're 3 years apart. We lived in separate homes. I lived with my grandparents. He lived with my mom and my two sisters. He was always a mama's boy, which is okay. It's just that my mom never seemed to tell him when he was wrong. For instance, a couple years back, he got into it with a girl and she put a restraining order out on him, but it's personal, so I'll let him.
Was she able to prepare him for manhood? In other words, did he get a skill that he can use to take care of himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe.
So it wasn't a detriment. A lot of folks say mama's boy. They suggest perhaps if you're spoiled, you don't have motivation to go out and do anything for yourself, and you rely on other people to take care of you, primarily mama. So
yeah,
sounds like if he can take care of himself, it worked out being a mama's boy. Go ahead.
She didn't tell him when he was right or wrong. So a lot of things that he do is wrong. Okay. He seems to think they're okay.
Okay, he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong for the most part.
I think so.
All right. Yeah, he's supposed to have been in prison then.
No.
If you don't know the difference between right and wrong, at some point you're going to prison
and drinking or something.
Too much wrong.
I don't do none of that.
Defendant Wardell Heller is being sued by his sister, who claims Wardell has always been a mama's boy.
What else you want to tell me about him? Other than he should have been in prison. He don't know the difference between right and wrong. He's a mama's boy, but that worked out for him.
But he should do what he say, and that was what we agreed to when it came.
I don't know what you mean, what we agreed to, but I'll let him give some background, and then I'll see what you all agreed to. Yeah.
All right, that's my older sister. I'm the youngest and only boy. So me and her is pretty much.
How many children? How many siblings?
4 total. My mom got 4 kids. And
okay.
I'm the 4th and only boy. And me and my sister pretty much close. Always been close. I go through something, I'm going to talk to her. She go through something, she going to talk to me. So the mama's boy thing, of course, but I spoil my sisters now, really. Pretty much. So, head nod. But basically, yeah, we always been close. I'm close with all my family. I'm really a family man, basically. So, in prison, no.
What more values your mom taught you?
Oh, yes. My mom is a beautiful woman. Yeah, she raised us all good. So, both of us. So, pretty much, the loan came into play. because I have my own business. I do graphic design, photography, and videography.
Okay, I'm allow her to tell me she's suing over the loan, so she can give me the background on the loan.
Yes. So he asked me for $4,000.
When?
For the loan, July of 2020.
What was the agreement?
The agreement was that I'll send him the $4,000 and I'll give him a while to pay it back, which would be April of 2021.
21?
Yes. But I didn't get him the money until July 13th after he signed the agreement and he sent it to me. I got the agreement in the mail because we live in two different states. I'm in Ohio, he's in Atlanta. So it came July 13th. I sent him the money, the $4,000. He got the money. So April comes. I didn't push the fact that, he didn't say anything about the money. We were still talking. That's my brother. I'm not going to pressure him. He still knows he owes the money. So boom, here's May comes. We didn't talk. We still talk. We still didn't talk about the money. I didn't pressure it up until my landlord gave us 30 days to move out. That's when I explained to my brother, like, hey, I need that money because I have to move. And at that time, I didn't have a job. Last year, I just had a baby in May.
And you didn't have the savings?
No, I did. My husband technically had all the savings. That's what I used to help my brother. My husband didn't know about the money up until recently, so that put a strain on my marriage with the loan of giving my brother. But the reason I asked that, because so often people loan money to friends and family and they don't have a savings for themselves and they loan out their savings. Right.
And then they get in a crisis.
Right.
And they can't even fend for themselves because they've loaned it out to a family or friend.
Right.
And it's my belief that you should only loan what you can lose, because there's a 50-50 chance you're not gonna get that money back. So don't loan your savings that you might need when a crisis comes. I'm just making an observation, but
right. But my husband didn't know about that money, so he recently found out about the money, which put a strain on us because it already was a strain on us when my landlord just popped up with us moving out, because he stated the market is better now. Mm-hmm. He wanted to up the rent. So needing the money back right away was because he only gave us 30 days to move. Right. So I told Wardell this, and actually we were supposed to be going to Georgia for Wardell's daughter's birthday. I even told him, I can't come down there. I have to hurry up and get a job because I have to help pay to get us somewhere else to stay, because with moving expenses is a lot. So then that's when all the arguing between us started, and he stopped ignoring my calls.
How did it become an argument?
Because he felt that I was rushing him, and that because of COVID, he said, you're not going to be kicked out like you think you are. And I said,
and I was right. I was correct.
Yes. No, that's not true.
Defendant Wardell Heller is being sued by his sister, who claims Wardell has always been a mama's boy.
Aside from trying to count her money and her debts, what do you have to say about the money she loaned you, the debt that you owe her? What do you have to say?
Okay, the $4,000, that's correct. Mm-hmm. But
what'd you need it for?
My business, basically. Basically, me and my daughter's mom, when she put a couple of restraining orders on me. I don't, we good, so I don't want to get too much into that. She see that, and then she do something to me. I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared of her. I don't want that to happen, no. So, somehow some of my stuff got messed up. I don't know who did it, though. So I was still building my stuff up. That's been my only source of income for the last 6 years. So she wanted to help me with that. Mm-hmm. And basically I was gonna pay her back the $4,000. But I have gave her sporadically money, period. Like $500 there, $300 there, and we on the same phone bill. It's me, her husband, and 2 of my nephews. So, and her. So basically they would turn my phone off if the bill is not paid, and my phone is turned off every month. And I feel like she'd do that on purpose because
That's not true.
I need to get my phone. I need my phone on. That's how I reach my clients. So,
No.
and the total of the phone bill would be, it'd be between $400 and $500.
Why didn't you get your own?
Say it one more time.
Why didn't you get your own then?
That's a good question.
You didn't have the money or the credit. Go ahead.
Yeah. But basically, so that's minus my $120 that's being paid. So I do owe her, but I don't owe her a total of $4,000.
What do you think you are?
$2,000 and less.
And do you
No.
have a, okay, so you're guessing. All right. Are you going to guess or do you?
I have
for sure.
I have
Yes.
the proof, but
Question is whether he paid you anything, and he said he paid you about over $2,000.
no, he paid me nothing.
I
Yes,
have some evidence.
$0.
He paid you zero?
$0. He never said to me that, hey, this is towards my loan. Yes, he had gave
Never
me
said to you about what is not towards the loan.
that the money that he will give me would be. He probably gave me $500. He gave me
Just as a gift?
Yes, as a gift, and especially
When do you think that happened approximately?
March of 2020 and May of 2020, because he did send me things for when I was having my baby and I had a premature baby. So, he did send me some money while I was in the hospital.
That was before the loan, though.
Huh?
The loan was in July of 20.
Oh, yes.
You all are quite confused.
No, okay.
You're confused.
Send me that
I have
money.
evidence what I paid her.
I'm going to be able to give anybody.
No, I have the evidence of the phone bills I didn't pay. This is my bank statement of me paying the whole phone bill, which I shouldn't have a whole phone bill.
Phone bill. The phone bill was over $2,000?
No, that's
what's the
different.
phone
The
bill?
phone bills is $500.
Well, then that's why you still owe. You still owe at least $3,500. If the phone bill was $500, she loaned you $4,000. All you keep saying, I paid the phone bill, I paid the phone bill, I paid the phone bill. That was only $500. Any evidence of anything else?
The cash, I can't prove it. She just said I gave her
Well, if you
cash.
can't prove it, then you can't get
She
credit
said
for
I
it.
gave her cash.
It's $500.
And plus
and
the
cash
phone
she
bill.
says was in March. You
And
didn't
plus
get the
the
loan
phone
until
bill.
July.
And plus the
You
phone
didn't
bill.
get the loan until July. She said the cash came in March.
And that's when I had my baby. And the
I don't
phone
owe
bill that
$4,000.
he paid,
No, you don't think you do?
the phone bill that he paid will be for his bill.
Why do you think we're here?
He never paid my phone bill.
You think I knew that? Woo, yeah, he owes. He don't think right. $4,000 is your judgment. Have a good day.
I love you, you're my brother, but I needed the money and I needed you to understand why I needed the money. I didn't want to go this route, but I love you and you're an awesome brother, father, and uncle, especially uncle.
Appreciate it. It's not my fault you broke. No, I'm just playing. I love you. No, that's one of my queens, so I love my baby.
I love
give her the money, so we good.
Yeah.